Today is a good day. Finished this little project on the Milano's HVAC, which I've been working on seemingly forever. Mostly because I was waiting for parts from China, and also Saab issues were taking up a lot of my time as well. So what you see here is just the typical Milano HVAC control that you normally know. But now, if you flip it over, holy smokes, there's a lot of electronics on the back of there now. So let's just see what's going on here a little bit. Mounted on the back is the DC motor controller, which I showed in a previous video. Mounted just onto the back of the plastic on the HVAC. It just barely fits by the heater or the floor heat. So hopefully, now that I've added this last piece, I'm good on that as well. We'll have to have a look once it's in the car. So basically, what I was waiting for, which took so long, is these little air conditioning evaporator switches. I ordered 3 of them because I figured I'd wreck them. And also they're cheap. They're only a few bucks each. So in addition to putting variable speed on the fan, which you can see here is now on the factory knob, as you can see, completely variable control. And so the fan speed, variable control. I wanted to get rid of this little guy, which is the factory evaporator switch. Just a little, your typical tube gets stuffed into the into the evaporator, and it senses the temperature, and then the temperature is just controlled with this this device. I hate those things. They get really inaccurate over time, and that thing was like really inaccurate. It would like switch off the compressor at like 50 Fahrenheit, so the thing would never really get that cold. But I mean, in general, like even in my GTV6, I think they're crappy as well. So basically what this is just literally an electronic version of that old style switch. It has positive, negative, and then an output through a relay to the AC compressor. And then it has a little thermal probe, which gets inserted into the evaporator, as I've done here. I've put it back into where the original tube went in, and then just chop the wires off to make it a little easier, so I can stuff the stuff the evaporator into the housing and everything, and then just do the hookup of the sensor later. So as you can see, that's pretty much the last step. Is I'll chop the end of that off and just splice it onto that sensor. Again, I had 3 sensors, so I had lots to play with. I had to do a little modification to the knob. If you can barely see it in there, it'll focus. There's a little Honeywell switch in there. And let me just move the cold knob here. So as you move the cold knob, you can see it. I've ground off all the little nubs that were on this knob before until there's just one. And so now, basically, this electronic switch is off when that gets moved into the off position, and as soon as you move it just off, it turns on the switch and it starts controlling the temperature. This switch is supposed to control everything from 25 Celsius down to 0 Celsius with 3 degrees of hysteresis. So it should work really, really well. So now I've got obviously the factory harness and all that spliced. I've got the wires that are going to the blower motor. I'll do that once the blower motor is installed. So yeah, slam this new updated version of the climate control back in. You can see there's a relay in there. That's for the purpose of the recirc door, because that needs to have power only when the fan is switched on. Just basically mimicking what used to happen on the factory circuit. But yeah, huge difference in what's on the back of this. Tons and tons of wiring. Just tested it all works. So yeah, stuff that and that all back in the car, and we should be past this HVAC crap.